Okay, let's unpack this. You're probably listening to us on a personal computer right now, maybe?
Or you've got one nearby, yeah.
Yeah,
On your desk, maybe in your bag.
exactly. And these things, they aren't just gadgets anymore. They're kind of the quiet powerhouses behind, well, pretty much everything we do.
Absolutely. Work, learning online.
Gaming, creative stuff, desktops, laptops, workstations, the whole lot. They really are foundational to modern life.
Yeah, it's easy to just take them for granted, isn't it? But their impact on productivity, education, even how we relax,
Hmm.
it's just huge
Yeah.
and constantly evolving.
And that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive today. We're looking at the Global Personal Computer Market Trends and Forecasts report from Cognitive Market Research.
Right.
Our mission here is to, get past the headlines. We want to really understand the numbers, which are fascinating, and the forces driving this market. See where it's all headed for you.
And the first thing that just jumps out from the report is the sheer scale we're talking about.
Mm.
The PC market back in 2021 was already valued at a massive $154.864 billion.
Wow. And the future looks even bigger, doesn't it? The report projects it climbing significantly to $199.976 billion by 2025,
Uh-huh.
and then hitting an impressive $333.454 billion by 2033.
That's right. And that represents a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR,
Yep.
of 6.6%. That's over more than a decade.
So it's not just some quick rebound, it's sustained momentum.
Exactly. That kind of sustained growth projected so far out, it really says something. And it's being driven by, well, a mix of things.
Like what?
The constant march of technology, obviously. Faster processors, better portability, seamless connectivity, all that stuff.
Sure.
But it's also being fundamentally reshaped by these big global shifts in how we live and work now.
Ah, you mean like the big shift to hybrid work? That seems pretty permanent now.
That's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And also the accelerated digital transformation you see happening across almost every industry.
Right, right. Plus, there's this surging demand for really high-performance machines, isn't there? For complex work, but also, like, serious gaming and entertainment.
Precisely. It feels like these aren't just passing trends. They're fundamental changes driving actual investment in PCs.
Yeah. And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, these aren't just abstract numbers, are there?
Not at all. This growth, it reflects really deep changes in how we learn, how we collaborate, how we consume media.
And it directly shapes the kind of tech that gets developed and becomes available to you, right? Affecting your next device, the tools for education.
Absolutely. It puts that whole trajectory, $154 billion in 2021, heading towards $333 billion by 2033, with that steady 6.6% CAGR. It puts it into real perspective.
Yeah, it really underlines that personal computing isn't just, hanging on. It's actually thriving.
Okay, so let's zoom in a bit from that global view. How does this growth look region by region? Maybe start with North America.
Good idea. So North America generated $41.194 billion back in 2021, and it's projected to hit $52.174 billion by 2025, and then keep climbing to $83.697 billion by 2033.
Right. And within North America, the U.S. is obviously the dominant player.
No surprise there. Projected to hit $67.46 billion by 2033. But what I found interesting was Canada's contribution. It looks really strong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, its market is set to nearly triple from about $5.7 billion in 2021 to almost $14 billion by 2033.
Wow, that's significant growth.
It is. What do you think drives that kind of consistent growth in a region that's already pretty established? Is it just people upgrading, or is something else going on?
That's a really good question. In mature markets like North America, it's often, well, a combination of things.
Okay.
Replacement cycles are always there. That's the baseline.
Yeah.
But the report suggests other big drivers are software getting more sophisticated, needing more powerful hardware,
Right. That makes sense.
and also the ongoing need for really robust devices for all these hybrid work setups. And Mexico also shows solid growth, reaching $2.26 billion by 2033. It shows continued digital adoption, just maybe in a slightly smaller scale than the U.S. or Canada.
Okay, so that's North America, robust, established, but still growing steadily. Now, let's shift our gaze eastward to Asia-Pacific, which is really described as a powerhouse in this report.
Oh, absolutely. Asia-Pacific isn't just the largest region for PCs, it's also the fastest growing major region globally.
Okay, give us the numbers.
Right, so it started at $54.047 billion in 2021.
Wow. already bigger than North America back then?
Yeah, and it's projected to surge to an impressive $123.878 billion for 2033.
Whoa, over 120 billion. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, I think. China obviously plays a huge role, right?
Dominant, yeah. Looking at almost $40 billion, $39.889 billion by 2033.
But the real standout, maybe in terms of just speed, seems to be India.
Definitely. India's market is expected to just rocket from
Yeah.
$8.431 billion in 2021
Uh-huh.
to an astounding $23.661 billion by 2033.
That's almost triple. What specifically is fueling that kind of, well, explosive acceleration in India? Is it just general digital trends or something more specific?
Well, that trajectory for India, it really highlights some unique dynamics. It's not just about internet penetration, although that's part of it.
Right?
But you've also got government initiatives like Digital India pushing access, a really large and growing tech-savvy youth population,
Okay.
and a rapidly expanding middle class that's maybe getting their first personal devices for education or starting businesses or just entertainment. It's a different kind of growth engine compared to, say, North America.
That makes sense. A lot of first-time buyers driving things.
Exactly. And beyond China and India, you've got other really key players. Japan, South Korea, Australia, they all show consistently strong multi-billion-dollar markets.
So ongoing demand in those developed Asian economies, too.
Definitely. Japan, for instance, is forecast to reach nearly $20 billion by 2033. South Korea, over $11 billion. And then you also see significant growth across Southeast Asia as a whole. Taiwan, Singapore, they all add to the region's overall momentum. Australia's looking at over $9 billion, too.
It really paints a picture of widespread growth across APAC. Okay, let's shift focus again. How about Europe?
Europe's also showing solid growth. The market there was valued at $36.238 billion in 2021, and it's expected to basically double, reaching $72.693 billion by 2033.
And who's leading the charge in Europe?
Germany is clearly out front. Their market's projected to hit almost $13 billion, $12.794 billion by 2033.
Okay.
But France and the UK are also really significant contributors. Both are expected to cross the $9.5 billion mark by 2033.
So strong showings from the big three there.
Yeah, but what's kind of intriguing is the consistent, widespread growth you see across the whole continent.
Right, so it's not just concentrated in a few places.
Not entirely. While Germany leads, you see solid, sustained growth elsewhere too. Yeah. Italy, Russia, Spain, they're all forecast to have multi-billion-dollar markets. It reflects pretty broad digital adoption, enterprise and consumer demand, keeping things moving.
Okay. Any other notable European markets?
Yeah, the report mentions smaller but still impactful markets like Switzerland. They're showing a strong trajectory, over $4.4 billion by 2033. Sweden, Denmark, Luxembourg also contribute significantly. It just shows the PC remains vital across diverse European economies.
Got it. Okay, let's hit South now. South America.
Right. South America's personal computer market totaled $11.677 billion back in 2021.
And the projection?
It's projected to more than double, reaching $26.343 billion by 2033.
Okay, and who's the leader there? Is it Brazil?
Yep, Brazil's taking the lead.
Right.
Forecast to reach over $11 billion by 2033.
And other countries?
Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile, they're all showing a strong, steady growth as well. Each one projected to be a multi-billion-dollar market by 2033.
So similar growth drivers there. Is it like India with lots of first-time buyers, or is it more about specific industries?
It seems like a bit of a mix, actually. There's definitely a strong element of increasing digital literacy and first-time PC ownership, especially for education and small businesses.
Right.
But the report also highlights growing demand from sectors like e-commerce and digital services, which often need more robust computing power for both consumers and the businesses themselves.
Interesting mix. Okay, 2 more regions to cover. Let's turn to the Middle East.
The Middle East is also on a significant upward path, forecast to hit $17.006 billion by 2033.
Wow, that's almost triple its 2021 value, which was around $7.3 billion.
Exactly. Saudi Arabia and Turkey are major contributors here, both projected to go over $3 billion by 2033.
Okay.
And what's particularly noteworthy is the really strong growth in the UAE, also expected to surpass $3 billion by 2033.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of investment in digital infrastructure there, plus a young, tech-savvy population might be driving that.
That seems to be a big part of it. And we also see Egypt and Qatar showing strong growth heading into the multi-billion-dollar range, too. It just emphasizes how the region is increasingly embracing personal computing as a foundational tool.
Makes sense. Okay, finally, let's look at Africa.
Africa, while starting from a smaller base, is definitely on a significant upward trend as well. Projected to grow from about $4.4 billion in 2021 to nearly $10 billion, $9.837 billion by 2033.
So more than doubling, too. Which countries are leading there?
Nigeria is leading the way in Africa, expected to reach over $4.2 billion by 2033.
Okay.
And South Africa is right there with them, projected to hit just over $4 billion by 2033.
So those two are the clear front runners on the continent.
For now, yes. It seems clear that as digital penetration increases, which is happening across the continent, the demand for PCs grows right along with it.
Okay, so we've toured the world, essentially. Looking at all these regions, what's the big takeaway? What does this all mean for us?
Well, I think the key takeaway from this whole deep dive is really clear. The global PC market isn't just holding steady or treading water.
Right.
It's actually poised for significant sustained growth over the next decade. This isn't just about recovering from past dips or something.
No, it feels more fundamental.
Exactly. It's driven by these deeply embedded trends we talked about, evolving work environments, that rapid digital transformation everywhere, and just continuous tech advancements making PCs more essential than ever.
Yeah, it really feels like these aren't just impressive numbers on a page.
Yeah.
It's about how the tools we use every day are changing and reaching more people globally.
Absolutely.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening, given this really robust growth and this ongoing digital transformation we're seeing everywhere, how might your own interaction with personal computers, with your devices, evolve over the next decade?
Good question.
What new needs might pop up?
Right.
Or what new opportunities do these trends suggest for how you work, how you learn, maybe even how you play? Right there in your own hands. Something to think about. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a plunge into a really dynamic and constantly transforming world, the personal computer market.
It changes so fast, doesn't it?
It really does. We've gathered, well, a whole stack of sources, the latest articles, some deep research, industry reports, basically everything we could find to give you an unfiltered look at the trends, the maybe surprising challenges, and the exciting future unfolding in the PC space.
Yeah.
So our mission for this deep dive, it's really to uncover the most important nuggets, maybe some unexpected facts, helping you understand the powerful forces shaping the very devices we rely on, for work, learning, entertainment, pretty much everything.
And this isn't just about specs, right?
Yeah.
Not just the hardware power. It's really about understanding how these, quite profound technological shifts in the PC market impact our daily productivity, our creativity, even, our privacy.
That's a great point. Especially in the super interconnected world, we want to explore not just what's happening, but really why it matters to you. Okay, so let's unpack this. What's really propelling the personal computer market forward right now? What are the main drivers?
Well, right at the top, I'd say it's enterprise digital transformation.
Yeah.
And tied closely to that, the huge embrace of hybrid work.
Right. We're seeing organizations, across practically every sector, pouring investments into more robust, secure, collaborative computing setup.
And what's really interesting there is the kind of investments they're making. It's not just faster processors anymore, not by a long shot.
No. What are we seeing then?
We're seeing laptops with enterprise-grade security chips built right in. Biometric access, fingerprint readers, facial recognition.
For quick, secure logins. Makes sense.
Exactly. And noise-canceling microphones, AI-enhanced video conferencing features. These are becoming standard issue now, part of the regular corporate buying cycle. They're essentials, not just nice-to-haves.
That feels like a critical distinction. So companies aren't just refreshing devices for a speed boost anymore?
Not primarily, no.
The real driver seems to be this maybe quieter underlying need, avoiding those big regulatory fines, battling increasingly sophisticated cyber threats.
Absolutely. It's a complete paradigm shift, really. It's forcing businesses, especially those in regulated industries like finance, healthcare.
Yeah, they're under huge pressure.
They are. They have to prioritize device upgrades, not just for performance, but crucially for compliance and cybersecurity resilience.
Okay, so that focus on specialized features, security, on-device stuff. That brings us neatly to the AI PC revolution, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. This is the emergence of personal computers specifically optimized for AI. They feature dedicated neural processing units, NPUs.
NPUs. Okay, break that down a bit. What's an NPU?
Think of it like a specialized coprocessor.
Yeah.
A bit like how a graphics card handles visuals.
Got it.
But this one's built specifically to accelerate AI tasks. So it offloads that heavy lifting from the main CPU. Makes on-device AI super fast and Importantly, efficient.
And that's where it gets really interesting, right? These NPUs enable local AI workloads, things happening on your laptop.
Precisely. Imagine real-time language translation happening instantly, or generating complex images, running predictive analytics, all without sending your data off to the cloud.
Wow. So which companies are leading this?
Dell, HP, Apple, they're really pushing this wave,
Hmm.
introducing systems that can support large language models right there on the machine.
And who's the target audience for this kind of power?
Well, initially, it's creative professionals, data analysts, software developers, people who really benefit from that enhanced responsiveness.
And the offline capability must be huge, too.
Huge, plus the data privacy aspect,
Hmm.
because the processing stays local. It stays on their device.
Right, right. Okay, so beyond the enterprise and these high-end users, there's another area you mentioned, the education sector. That's playing a surprisingly big role.
It really is a significant growth enabler, especially when you look at emerging economies.
How so?
We're talking about government-backed initiatives, one-to-one computing programs, remote learning infrastructure, driving these massive deployments of, say, Chromebooks and low-cost Windows laptops.
Can you give some examples?
Sure. Look at India's PM Avidya scheme or Brazil's big push for digital education. These are creating really strong, sustained demand.
And what kind of PCs are needed there? Rugged, budget-friendly ones.
Exactly. The priorities are crystal clear. Long battery life is crucial, seamless cloud compatibility, and low maintenance. Things that just work reliably in demanding environments.
And it's interesting that these programs have kept their momentum even after the immediate COVID crisis passed.
Yeah, because digital literacy itself has become such a key national priority in so many countries. It's foundational now.
Okay, but here's where it gets maybe a bit more complicated. Because despite all that innovation, the PC market is also dealing with some pretty critical restraints. Roadblocks, if you will.
There are definitely headwinds.
And one major challenge seems to be the extended life cycle of modern PCs. They just last longer.
They absolutely do. It's true. Modern PCs, well, they're simply built better. More durable designs, longer operating system support.
Like Chrome OS getting 10 years of updates, that's huge.
It is. Or Windows 11 compatibility on older hardware. Plus, you're seeing more options for modular upgrades now.
So people can swap out parts instead of buying a whole new machine.
Exactly. Think back to your old laptops. Remember when they felt ancient after just a couple of years?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Now, your laptop could easily last you 5, maybe even 6 years and still feel perfectly usable.
That is quite a shift, isn't it? And the result is people just aren't replacing them as often.
Pretty much. Consumers, businesses, they're delaying replacements. That average upgrade cycle is now stretching out to that 5 to 6 year mark.
And I guess things like inflation and general economic uncertainty don't help either.
Not at all. That definitely compounds the issue, leading to softer demand in quite a few regions.
Okay, so if people are holding on to PCs longer, what about competition from other devices? Is that a factor?
It absolutely is. We're seeing a growing substitution effect from mobile devices.
You mean high-end smartphones and things like foldables?
Exactly. They've got powerful processors now. You can attach keyboards, use cloud-based apps. They're increasingly capable of meeting a lot of users' productivity needs.
Are there places where this is more obvious?
Yeah, definitely. In markets like Southeast Asia or parts of Africa where mobile-first habits are really dominant, you see users often skipping PCs altogether.
They just use their phone or maybe a tablet.
Right. They go straight for a flagship mobile or a tablet. The consequence is, well, it reduces the urgency for owning a traditional PC, especially for, personal use, non-professional stuff.
Where your phone really can be your main computer.
It can.
And then, sort of underpinning all of this, there's the issue of the supply chain, fragility, component costs.
Yeah, that's an ongoing challenge. The huge demand for AI chips, for example, coupled with geopolitical stuff like export restrictions, trade tariffs, it's put a real strain on the availability of critical components, GPUs, those NPUs we talked about.
And it's a concentrated problem too, isn't it? A lot of the advanced chip manufacturing is in just a couple of places.
Very concentrated. Taiwan and South Korea are dominant. So any disruption there, like some of the geopolitical tensions we saw flare up in 2024, it can just ripple right across global PC production.
Affecting prices, availability, everything.
Everything. For everyone.
Okay, so we've seen the drivers, we've seen the restraints. What does this all mean for the future? Let's dive into the trends that are really reshaping the industry landscape now. And I guess we have to start by revisiting the AI PC revolution.
Absolutely. We have to circle back to that. It's such a crucial trend, and it's only accelerating. Projections suggest devices capable of edge AI processing could make up something like 40% of new PCs by 2025.
40%. Wow, that's not niche anymore. That's mainstream.
It's heading that way fast.
Hmm.
And when we talk about edge AI, just to be clear, we mean processing data right there on your device at the edge of the network.
Instead of sending it off to some distant cloud server.
Exactly, which means, lightning fast responses.
Yeah.
And critically, your sensitive data doesn't have to leave your machine.
Which is a huge boost for privacy.
Huge. And it cuts down latency for things like real-time transcription or smart automation running locally.
Okay, another really promising trend, one that feels very relevant right now, is the move towards modular and sustainable PC designs.
Yes, this is fascinating. Companies like Framework, Dell is doing some interesting things too. They're launching systems where users can easily upgrade components.
Like RAM, SSDs, keyboards, even the ports.
Even the ports, yeah. It's a big shift.
And the environmental angle there seems obvious. Less e-waste.
Exactly. It's a huge win for the environment. Directly reduces e-waste, extends the product's life significantly.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine not having to junk an entire laptop just because the RAM feels slow or the battery dies.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
And it's not just modularity. We're also seeing more carbon-neutral manufacturing processes. Recycled aluminum casings, biodegradable packaging.
Especially in Europe, I hear.
Particularly strong in European markets, yeah.
Mm.
Partly due to stricter regulations, but also really high customer awareness and demand for sustainable products.
Okay, what else? We're also seeing a big boom in specialized PCs, right? For gaming and creative professionals.
Oh, absolutely. The gaming industry is just enormous now, over $200 billion globally.
Wow.
And that's driving huge demand for specific features. High refresh rate OLED displays, really powerful GPU support, specialized liquid cooling systems.
Brands like MSI, Alienware, they catered to that.
They do. They're constantly pushing the performance boundaries.
And on the creative side, content creators.
Yeah, similar story. Content creators are driving sales of PCs with incredibly color-accurate displays. Mini LED is big. There are studio-grade mics, high-fidelity audio.
Because the software they use keeps getting more demanding.
Exactly. Things like Adobe Creative Cloud, DaVinci Resolve. They get more hardware intensive all the time.
Sure.
Trying to edit, say, 4K video on a basic laptop, it's painful.
Like trying to cut down a tree with a butter knife, yeah.
Pretty much. And Apple's MacBook Pro line is obviously a key player catering to that high-end creative segment.
Okay, so overlaying all of these specific tech trends is the bigger picture of global trade policy. That's having an impact, too.
It is, yeah. Specifically, those potential 2025 U.S. tariffs under the Liberation Day framework. That's a proposed set of policies aiming to, reshore manufacturing, boost domestic supply chains.
Right, I've heard about that. It's potentially reshaping sourcing and pricing across the whole consumer electronics industry.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Now, PCs have apparently been temporarily exempted from those specific tariffs.
Oh, interesting.
But manufacturers aren't waiting around. They're proactively diversifying their supply chains anyway. Increasing inventories, looking at supplier localization strategies, basically trying to mitigate any future disruptions.
Playing a global chess game to stay stable.
You could see that, yeah. It's about managing risk in a pretty unpredictable world.
So in this really intense competitive landscape, who is leading the charge? Who are the big players?
Well, you've got the familiar names. Lenovo, HP, Dell, Apple, Acer, Asus, Microsoft. They're all in the mix.
Operating across enterprise, education, consumer segments.
Right, each vying for market share. And it's interesting how their strengths differ. Lenovo tends to dominate in overall global volume.
Selling the most units.
Yeah, while Apple continues to lead in premium average selling price, ASP, largely through that powerful MacBook ecosystem. They've really carved out that high-value niche.
That makes sense. And what's also clear is how competition in those niche categories, like high-end gaming you mentioned, Alienware, MSI, or those innovative modular PC companies, that competition is really pushing innovation everywhere, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It fuels innovation and differentiation across all the different price points. Really keeps everyone on their toes.
Wow, okay. What a journey through the PC market. It really is striking from, the surprising longevity of the PCs we already have to this fascinating shift towards AI on the device and that growing focus on sustainability. This market might seem mature, but it is anything but static. It's incredibly dynamic, so much innovation happening.
It really is.
Yeah.
And maybe a final thought to consider. Given all these intertwined trends we've talked about, evolving work, powerful on-device AI, the push for sustainability, how might our relationship with technology, both personal and professional, actually evolve?
As PCs get more specialized, more reparable, more intelligent, even without that constant cloud connection.
Exactly. What new possibilities might that open up? Or perhaps what new challenges might arise for how we interact with information and maybe even how we interact with each other in the coming years?
That is a powerful thought to leave everyone with. Definitely something to ponder as these technologies keep advancing. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the personal computer market.
My pleasure.
And we encourage you, our listeners, to keep exploring these fascinating topics.